Good morning and welcome back to the rally party, people. All right, going to look at Bitcoin, looking at the weekly chart. So from this top down to this bottom, major support between the 618 at 67,866 and 786 at 64,291. So if we need to come down, bounce, head higher. Looking at the RSIs, you can see the stock RSI is overbought in this area. You can see it can stay here a while, but right now it is overbought. So if we need a bigger pullback and then higher. And if we break these levels, we'll be heading towards the bear market bottoms at 1.236 at 55,616 and the 1618 at 49,176. If we bring up the 350-week SMA right here, you can see that in the last bear market, this is what we bottom off at, right around 15,400, hit the 350-week SMA, and then started the bull market. So will we do the same thing? Will this trail up into this area up here? Bitcoin come down, bounce off of it, and start the bull market, or are we already in the bull market? Only time will tell. So I'm going to zoom in, see what Bitcoin was doing. So I'll zoom into the daily time frame. So you can see we hit 82,815. So yesterday I grabbed my fib, went from this top down to this bottom right here. And you can see that we hit the 786,618 yesterday. I can zoom into the 1 hour. So you can see from the top to this bottom, we hit 76. Couldn't get over it. Tried to use the 618 support and we fell back through. We're almost down to 382. So now I'm going to go from and delete that fib. And then we'll go from this high here to that low. See, we're holding the 0.5. Even if you bring it up here, it's holding the 618. So that's normally where I go to. So we want to be higher than this low. We're higher than here. We're higher than here. So now we want to be higher than here. So I usually bring my fib to this area. 618, 786 as major resistance, major support. So let's see, close enough. Bring it up a little bit. See, it wasn't right on it, but it's close enough anyways. Close enough to that. So 618, 80,278, 76, 79,796. We want to hold this area today, bounce, break through here, and head up to the higher levels that I had up here from this top down to this bottom. Wish I could put that back in so we can look from this top down to this bottom. See, 76,618 was right there. Break that. We're heading up to 1618, 1.236 at between $83,823, $85,472. So let me clean up my chart a little bit. Clean up this chart. That's what we want to do. We want to hold this level, bounce, break through here, get enough hitchhikers, people jumping on board, and then head up through these levels up here. So that's what I'm looking for today with Bitcoin. Hold these levels, move up higher. And yes, I could have marked that out too while I was there. So I'm going to do from this bottom to the top again, right there. And just make it close enough. Mark the 1236, 1618. So if we do break that low, probably coming in here at 78,513, 1618 at 77,444. So that's levels I'll look at. So we'll come back this evening and we'll see where Bitcoin is at. So going ahead and looking at, since I'm close to it, we'll look at Ethereum. Which I was on the weekly chart for Ethereum. So same thing for Ethereum, but I think Ethereum uses the 400 week. We're close enough. You can see 400 week, wick through it, and it's newer coin, so it doesn't have as much. But past 2 times, wicked, came up, wick, come up. So that is the 400 week SMA for Ethereum. But right now, I went from this recent top down to this bottom right here. Major support is at $1,989. 76 is at $1,876. Right now, we're trying to still break through the 236. So let me go ahead and zoom in and see what Ethereum is doing. So we're going to go to the daily. Going to the daily. And so we have these pullbacks. So from this top to this bottom right here. Top to this bottom. Another level we want to hold 618, 786 right here in this area. We need to come down, bounce off of that. But I also want to go from this top right here. And you can go from that top to this bottom right here. And you can see it's from that top down to this. Yeah, that top to this bottom right here. You can see we're right in the zone, the 1236, the 1618. So we're trying to hold this area. But I want to go from this top, this recent high, down to this bottom if we end up breaking this low. So that's why I'm going to this low right here. So if we break this low, we'll be coming back down, and it's basically the same zone. It's just a little bit higher. So you can widen the zone a little bit for support. And then you also have the major 382 right here in this level. So that'd be the next zone for a bounce. Break that, and then we're coming down to this zone. So, and then say this is the bottom. Say we hold this area. So you go from this top to this bottom. We're going to reverse the Fibonacci. Reverse the Fibonacci. Hold that there. We have the 61876. You can see in this area, wick, 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 and come down. So gain enough momentum, come up, break through it, and this would be your next move. 1.618 at $2,636 and the 1.236 at $2,531. If this low holds, and then we move higher, break through there, get up through there. If we don't, down to this zone, hopefully bounce and then head higher. So that is what I'm looking at for Ethereum. RSIs on the daily is at the bottom, so that's good. Gain momentum, move back up on the daily. Bitcoin, I don't think I looked at the RSIs. Same, Bitcoin's daily RSI is getting to the bottom. So I'm looking at for Ethereum. Let me go ahead and look at Dogecoin on the weekly. So you can see yesterday we broke through this line, so that is good. So I will move, because as it goes up, I move my fib up. That will change levels. So right here. Go ahead and delete that for now. I'll redraw it. So now 618 came up. 786 came up a little bit. You can see the weekly RSI is at the top, stock RSI. So now if Doge comes down to cool off on the weekly, 0.618 is at 0.093 cents, and the 76 is at 0.087 cents. So come down, bounce, head higher. Let's go ahead and zoom into the daily. So yesterday, I went from this top right here, oops, to this bottom. You can see the daily is already turning bullish for Dogecoin. So you can see as like if we go from this top to this bottom, resistance 786, 618. You can see we had resistance, rejection, rejection, came back down, came up 786, came back down, then we blasted through it. And my target was up here in this area, and we did not quite make the target yet before coming back down. So that's the higher levels I'm looking for. That's support. We zoom in on the hourly. You can see we came into the support and we're trying to bounce through it again. So yesterday I didn't put in really retracement levels for Doge. So I'd move this fib up here to the new top and reverse the Fibonacci. Reverse. Then we have this bottom right here. So support would be between the 618, 786 right here. So if we need to come down to this area, bounce, and then head higher. And I would probably come down to, yeah, I think that's fine. Look at the daily, and this is the last bounce, so you can really move it up to here. Because we want the bounce to be higher than this one, so higher than there, higher than there. So I'll go from here to this bottom, which will bring it up to like right here. And then hold that area. So we'll see if Dogecoin holds this area. And then to the top side, it's pretty much the same, just from that top to that top. You want to go up into that area. And if you wanted to zoom in, you can just go from, this is just too many levels to look at, just from this where we bottom at right there to this top. So you can see we're still in this big green zone as resistances. So that is what I'm looking at for Dogecoin. Let's see, bounced off this area. Let's see if we can head higher today. Said 1 hourly is trending up. 4 hourly is overextended, so maybe this needs to cool off and then come back up. But daily is also moving back up. So let's see what Dogecoin does today. It's trying to look bullish, trying to be bullish. And now we're going to Solana. So I'm going to go back to the weekly. Solana. From this top down to this bottom. Support is the 618, $77.97, $76, $73, 18 cents. So if we need to come back down, cool off on the weekly, down to this area and then higher. Of course, you break it, we have these areas down here, but let's worry about this area first. So we're going to zoom in onto the daily. So you can see it's trying to hold the major 236 right now. If you want to do a daily area, you go from here down to here. So this will be another zone right here, 618, 786. And you can see we've held this area before and bounced. So I want this to be the low. So I'm going to move my fib up here. And this just gives you other bounce areas. But this is the major low I want to hold. So if we do come down, bounce above this and hit higher, that's this 618, 786 in this area. So I'm going to remove this area first because I want this area to hold. Well, from there to there. I want this area to hold right here. So come down, bounce, and head higher. But right now, go ahead and reverse the fib. Look for our upside targets. Here to right here. This top down to this bottom. 618, 786 right here. So we want to find resistance here. So 618, $95.05, 76, $96.54. And then bounce higher, and these will be our targets up here between $100.64 and $104.26. So let's bounce and head higher. And you can see the daily RSI is still coming down for Solana. So it's cooling off. 4 hour is cooling off. You can see coming down, bearish. And then the 1 hour is trending up. See, it's trying to bounce and become bullish and head higher. And if you look at the hourly, let's look at the hourly fib from here, from this top to this bottom right here. You can see 618, 76, wick through it, came back up to 0.5, hit the 0.5, and now we're back in the 618. So we want to hold this zone today to bounce higher. You can see we used it a lot here. So now we're back in this zone. So hopefully just on the hourly levels, we can use that, head higher. But that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Dogecoin. So let's see what happens today. Hopefully we turn bullish and then start moving higher. But again, thanks for watching. This is not financial advice, and I will see you in the next one.